Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is Wasi Ahmed, also known as Ahmed Talat. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. This is an important message. Today is in our calendar in Oshawa, Canada, is the first of Zulhajj, 1447 Hijri. So if it is the first of the month, we are supposed to recite the first surah. Now, when I say first surah, I am talking about Suratul Baqarah, which is actually the second surah in the Mus'haf, because the first surah in the Mus'haf, the Quran book, bounded by cover to cover, the first surah is Surah Fatiha. But Surah Fatiha is kind of an introduction to the Quran. And actually, it is an introduction to the Quran, and we are supposed to recite Surah Fatiha in every salat. Without that, there will be no salat, as we were instructed by Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now, the Quran has the second surah is the Suratul Baqarah. The third is Suratun Ali Imran, Suratul Ali Imran. The third one is the fourth one is the Suratul Nisa. The fifth one is Suratul Ma'idah. So the fifth one is the sixth one is the Suratul An'am, and the seventh one is Suratul Araf. So actually, from Suratul Baqarah to Suratul Araf, these are the longest surahs in the Quran. And why Allah Ta'ala kept these longest surahs at the very beginning of the Quran, we will come to that in another episode. But right now, my teacher, Sheikh Imran Hussain, instructed me and all others that we should recite Suratul Baqarah on the first of the month of the Islamic calendar, and the second of the month we should recite Ali Imran, the third of the month Suratul Nisa, and the fourth of the month Suratul Ma'idah, and the fifth of the month Suratul An'am, and the sixth of the month Suratul Araf, thus completing the six longest surahs of the Quran in the first 6 days of the month. We can talk about this later on, but right now, if you can possibly start on this procedure, just recite Suratul Fatiha and Suratul Baqarah on the first of the month, and on the second of the month, Suratul Fatiha and Suratul Ali Imran, on the third of the month, Suratul Fatiha and Suratul Nisa, on the fourth of the month, Suratul Fatiha and Suratul Ma'idah, on the fifth of the month, Suratul Fatiha and Surah Al-An'am, and on the sixth of the month, Suratul Fatiha and Suratul Araf. Why I am saying Suratul Fatiha every time you recite the Quran? My teacher again, Sheikh Imran Hussain, instructed me that it is better we recite Suratul Fatiha every time we begin to recite a portion of the Quran. Even if we recite 10 ayah or 3 ayat or 1 ruku or maybe 1 para, but when we stop and talk to others, and when we answer a phone call or somebody asked something and you replied, then again, before resuming the Quran recitation, he recommended that we recite Suratul Fatiha again when we want to resume the continuation of our recitation. Again, we will talk about it in more detail, but for now, this is enough. And until next time, may peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.